everybody, I'm Mike Adam.
I'm Jim Shear.
This is Gimme 5. And we have a very big, I'm going to say the most controversial category we've ever had.
This could get us taken off the air.
Yeah, seriously.
We might offend too many people.
Yeah, if the music gods above do not like this, there will be no more Gimme 5. The most overrated legends in music. And Jim is going to start this one. I'm kind of happy you're starting it off and not me.
You're going to disagree with my first one right off the bat.
Okay.
But I want to preface everything by saying everyone I'm about to list should be rated as a legend. I just think they are overrated.
Right, exactly.
As legends.
Doesn't mean we don't like them. We just think
everyone is important on this list.
Yeah.
I just think they're overrated. Number 5, Prince.
Ah!
I could go down to Brooklyn right now, bump into a 26-year-old hipster, and they'd be like, oh, he's a genius. He's a genius. I'm like, all right, tell me why he's a genius. He plays every instrument. He's a great guitar player. What else can you tell me about him? He's a genius. What has Prince done in the last 20 years besides hand out Grammy Awards? He put out 2 albums last year. I can't sing any of the songs. I don't remember any of the songs. I think all of his hits sound like they came from the 1980s because they did. And when you listen to the production of those hits, they sound dated. But the greatest thing he's done in the last 20 years was when he did that guitar solo at the 2004 Hall of Fame ceremony.
Oh, so good. So good.
That was awesome.
So good.
That was not overrated. That might be underrated. Number 4, The Velvet Underground. Whenever there's a list of the greatest bands of all time, they're always in the top 10, and I just don't get it.
Yeah.
It's over my head. Every time I try to listen to the Velvet Underground, the music sounds hollow. I'm bored halfway through the first song.
Yep.
And a lot of people credit them for starting the punk movement. Not the kind of punk I listen to. No. Number 3, Pink Floyd. Never got it. I like my songs 2.5 minutes long. I don't like when bands jam out. I don't take drugs. Maybe that has something to do with it. Never liked Pink Floyd. Never got it.
Yeah.
And my aunts and uncles in Cleveland will hate me for that. They grew up listening to Pink Floyd. Number 2, and they're only number 2 on my list because they are number 2 on every greatest bands of all time list, the Rolling Stones. They've never done it for me. I understand they are crucial in the history of rock music, but to me, they are not the number 2 band of all time. They couldn't carry the Beatles' jockstrap.
Okay.
I even rank Led Zeppelin higher than Rolling Stones.
Yeah.
Put the Beastie Boys higher than Rolling Stones. And then the number 1 overrated legend of all time, the Sex Pistols. They put out 1 album. Their career was less than 3 years long.
Yeah.
Yes, they brought snarl to punk rock music, but they just had 1 album. An album that I like, but I don't think it's amazing.
Right. Okay.
There you go.
All right, I have a very different list here. For number 5, I'm going to go with AC/DC. I feel like
I can see that.
a lot of their work sounds similar, and it's because they played very simple like chords and stuff like that. And also, I think the last like classic album they had was Back in Black, which was back in 1980.
See, I think a lot of this is what have you done for me lately?
Yeah, totally. Because some people look at only like this much of a artist's career when really they have, after 1980, AC/DC had a bunch of albums. Mm-hmm. Nobody talks about those. At the number 4 spot, I'm going to go with Kiss. I don't think these guys are just overrated. I think they're just awful. So
what?
I don't like Kiss. I think they're 99% showmanship and like 1% music of substance.
But showmanship is important in rock music.
Yeah, but not to land you on a legends list if that's the only thing you're hanging your hat on. Number 3, I'm going to go with Guns N' Roses.
Wow.
Yeah. And this is aside from me just not liking Axl. I feel like if Slash wasn't in the group, no one would care. And, I think they are good, and they definitely have done some good for music, but I do think they're overrated. Absolutely.
How overrated? A lot overrated?
A good amount.
Really?
A good amount, yeah. But...
Because they had a moment there.
They did.
they had a moment there where I think they deserve to be rated high, especially in rock music.
Number 2, Bob Dylan. I think with Bob, if it wasn't for like Rolling Stone and his constant touring, for some reason Rolling Stone magazine loves him.
Because he has the song Like a Rolling Stone.
Yeah, maybe. They put him on a bunch of covers. They always give him coverage. He's always touring, which is important for an artist because then he gets a lot of publicity and write-ups and stuff like that. And he's great live. He surrounds himself with this barrage of awesome artists. So, but I think, I don't know, with him, I think there was a lot of hype involved. And I know you and I were talking before, if you weren't kind of a part of...
I think if you were part of that movement in the 60s...
It was big to you.
I mean, he was hanging out with Martin Luther King.
Right.
So if we were around in that time, I think we would understand his importance.
Yeah.
I've always tried to get into Bob Dylan.
Can't do it.
And I can't do it.
I know.
And I want to, but I just can't.
So number 1 for me, the hippies are going to throw tomatoes and stuff at the screen right now. The Grateful Dead. I think they're a great cover band. I think they're a great jam out band, a great live performance band, but name me like 1, 2 classic studio albums that they've put out. And again, like you said with Bob Dylan, I think there was a very big movement behind the Grateful Dead. So there were these kids that enjoyed getting high, going out to the concerts, and, you know, it was cool to like the Grateful Dead, so a lot of people like the Grateful Dead. And, you know, I think the same goes for, like, Fish as well. They're great live, they're great jamming out, but...
And please, do not throw a grilled cheese at your computer screen right now.
But, you know, a lot of these bands, like, I do like Guns N' Roses to a degree. I do like Bob Dylan to a degree, but I think these guys are overrated.
Yeah, we're overrated.
Yeah.
So maybe they're not 2 on the list. Maybe they're number 15 or 16 on the list of greatest of all time.
Yeah. But I could have went on and on. Metallica, Fish, like...
Metallica?
I know.
Come on
I
now!
could have went on and on, but all right, who's closing this? Am I closing this?
I'm going to close this one, yeah.
All
So
right.
there you go. Feel free to disagree or agree below. And if we missed anyone, let us know. And I love when people go after legends because it doesn't happen that often.
Right.
We put people on a pedestal and we leave them there.
Yep.
So they should be there for a reason. For Mike Adam, my name is Jim Shear, and we will see yins later.
That might have been the Rock Gods. That was our light. I don't know how much you heard that.
I think that was either the light or a vacuum cleaner hanging on the wall.
You said Pink Floyd, dude. See, I don't.
Oh my gosh!
I don't agree with that.
That was
either,
like the Rock Gods trying to make a Pink Floyd song.